Hello, this is just a part of my Star Wars collection, and you can see some Masters of the Universe. This is the vintage collection and a few other extra bits and pieces. And I'm going to go and have a look around here and show you what I've got. It's hard to get it all in, so we have to look at each little section. So we're looking here at the beautiful and wonderful prequels. Just on the left side we have the sequels. There's not many of them, so there's just a few, but basically look, we've got some of my favourite Jedis, Aya Sakura, Kiari Mundi, and I'll just try and get a bit more better focus than that. Sorry about this, not focusing because of the light. And there we go, Maz Kanata, one of my favourite characters of the sequels, and obviously Luke, and one of the Knights of Ren, and Poe Dameron. Looking around here, we have got, now we're getting on to Solo movie and Rogue One. So some of my favourites came out into vintage, which I'm very lucky, and A New Hope, which I've had some of these vintage ones for a long time. And I've also added, you can see a few extra prequel favourites that I like that I had to put up on the wall. I've got the retro style as well. And after A New Hope, I haven't done this in the right sort of order, have I? Because I'm now skipping to Return of the Jedi. You probably just saw a little bit of some Masters of the Universe, but we'll look at them last. It's supposed to be a Star Wars thing, but it doesn't matter. So, oops, here we go, bad lighting and focus, that's a bit better. The Return of the Jedi. Once again, as you can see, those packets have got the thing on the outside, so that's a very first sort of lot of vintage that came out. So I was lucky they had some of my favourite characters like Return of the Jedi. And then now we get to some of the newest ones, such as Bib Fortuna. Now, obviously, I kept Malakili. I don't understand why he hasn't got his own vintage character yet. Princess Leia, Slave Leia. These are not really vintage. These are the Saga and Trilogy collection, which were the first lot that came before any type of vintage. I was very intrigued about them because of the artwork in the back, and not just these blue and green cards or black series cards. Just some excitement, some artwork, you know, as we bought them when we were kids. And Hondo, obviously one of my favourite characters. So glad he was released in vintage style. Obi-Wan, I bought him 13, 14 years ago. Same figure, but not like vintage like this. Love it that Darth Maul came out because of the Series 7. And now we've got some interesting retro style figures of the droids. Just only got C-3PO and R2. I couldn't get my hands on Boba Fett, and I'm not going to pay a lot of money for it. So there you go. So the Shadow Trooper, just some favourite ones, and R2 in Return of the Jedi. Originally I was going to get this Emperor's Royal Guard 10 years ago or so, and same with Gamorrean Guard. I missed out, so they re-released them, so I'm very lucky. Also, I don't understand why Nine Num just does not have his own vintage figure as yet. It's just disgusting. He's a great character. Look, Ewoks, there you go, one from the Saga collection. And even this, the vintage, it was called the Saga collection before they came out into vintage. So that was one of the first lot that were released. So that's been re-released at Han Solo in trench coat. They are quite different. I've already got one, so I don't need another one. The Leia and Luke. I still do have the original Leia that was released. It's like that Han with the casing on the outside. But I accidentally bought it again because I was buying a package of a few other figures. And I like the little helmet on the top, like I do with Bush. And that was the same with that Luke in the Jabba's Palace. I was trying to buy the original, just never came. They gave me this one instead, which is still pretty cool. So, interesting history of the collection of buying these things. It's so much fun. Same with Mon Mothma. Hasn't got her own vintage figure yet. General Nadine. So he's got the trilogy collection. So like the Saga collection. Now that Luke came with a game, like Tarkin did. Here we go. go. So they're kind of maybe a little rare one. And Empire Strikes Back was to come after A New Hope, which is fantastic. So the retro collection of Empire Strikes Back, I've mixed it with my original trilogy collections of Princess Leia, Cloud City, and the trilogy collection once again, one of the first lot of vintage. R2 with his extended periscope, one of my favourites, and I got most of all the bounty hunters that I think that they've released in terms of vintage style. So there you can see Cloud City, and obviously, oh, we're going down. What can we see there? I'll get back to that in a minute, and I'll just have a quick peek at. We have at Driver and Imperial Snowtrooper with one of the commanders, and or a few vintage variants of Luke and other X-Wing pilots. Biggs Jansen's there as well. Sorry, Biggs Darklighter. Jansen, nice shot, Jansen. And I just put a few favourites of the Mara Jade and Grand Admiral Thrawn the first time they released them. I'll just sort of see if I can just jump in there a little bit better. It's not the best, but look, that's what all you're going to get. There she is, Mara Jade, first one. She was originally $30 or $40, I think. Was that rare when I bought it? Now we're going back to, whoops, let's see if we've got some lighting here. You can see I'm not a professional. Some of my favourite ones that I just had to put up on the wall to share with the vintage, and some comic characters. And now over here we have got the Mandalorian. Now this is the vintage style, sorry, it's just focusing in now. And also I got the retro style, so pretty much the same figures in retro. I'm still waiting on Bulletproof Villain to deliver me Boba Fett characters as well. Enjoy, thank you for seeing my collection, and for the encore, the last little bit, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Whoops, he fell over. He's going to do that with his little whip. I've got all my favourite characters, like any of them. These are all my favourite characters. People say, why don't you just buy your favourite characters? Well, these are. There's still more you can buy. So happy that they released the Sorceress. So two different styles of Stratos. One the cartoon version, and that's the comic version, original toy. He-Man redone retro style. Ram Man, they're mostly the same as the original, so I'm happy with that. And Buzz Off, Stinkor, and original style Merman. As you can see, they just use the same sort of head. Triclops, one of my favourites. Triclops, same sword as Fisto. And Jitsu, we've got the arch enemies, Faker. So glad they released that. And Evelyn, very cartoon style. That's the only sort of Evelyn I really like. Same with Man at Arms, with the evening of the armour. It's just me, each to their own. I would prefer just a full-on purple stuff of Skeletor, but it's a cartoon version, so that's just what I got. The Panther and the Panther and Battle Catacul. I like him without his helmet off, so I just put it down there. And Tila, like the cartoon style. And here we go, which, oh, no lighting there at all. That's very helpful, you guys. Mate, I don't know if I'll get a lot of views with this lighting, so it doesn't matter. It's all about showing my friends and people who are interested. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Maybe I might do that on a separate little video. It's just them in their packets, pretty much, what I showed you, that's out of their packets. And then I did some little colouring artwork for them. Goodbye, thank you very much for looking at my collection.